The Defiance Equation. The endless black of space swallowed everything except the distant spark of stars and the looming shadow of Neptune. Captain Ilara Chen stood on the bridge of the United Earth ship Resolute, her weathered face illuminated by the soft blue glow of tactical displays. 27 years of military service had carved lines around her eyes and silver streaks through her once black hair, but those eyes still burned with the same determination that had earned her command of humanity's most advanced vessel. "Status report," she demanded, her voice steady despite what the long-range scanners were telling her. Lieutenant Sato's fingers danced across his console. "Hegemony fleet has just emerged from FTL at the edge of Neptune's orbit, Captain. I count 117 vessels, dreadnought class and support cruisers." The bridge fell silent. 117 ships. The entirety of Earth's defensive fleet numbered 38. "They're earlier than intelligence predicted," said Commander Vasquez, Ilara's second-in-command. His dark eyes met hers, both knowing what this meant. "The evacuation of North America has barely begun." Ilara nodded once, then straightened her uniform jacket. "Send the butterfly signal. Then open a direct channel to Earth Command." The holographic form of Admiral Takahashi materialized moments later, his face grim beneath his officer's cap. "Captain Chen, the Hegemony fleet. At Neptune's orbit, sir, nearly double our projected numbers." The Admiral closed his eyes briefly. "Project Butterfly. Signal sent, sir. The Resolute is in position." A heavy silence hung between them. The Admiral's expression softened with something akin to regret. "Your family. We're on the first evac ships to Mars, sir," Ilara interrupted, not wanting sentimentality to crack her resolve. "Permission to proceed with Operation Longshot." Admiral Takahashi nodded. "Permission granted. The hopes of Earth go with you, Captain." The transmission ended, and Ilara turned to her crew, each face showing the strange cocktail of fear and determination that came with knowing you might be making the ultimate sacrifice. "You all volunteered for this mission knowing the odds," she said, "but I'll offer one last chance. Anyone who wishes to take an escape pod to the nearest Earth outpost, speak now." Not a single crew member moved. Lieutenant Karim, the youngest officer aboard, even smiled slightly. "We're with you, Captain. All the way." Ilara nodded, feeling a swell of pride. Commander Vasquez set course directly for the Hegemony flagship. "Lieutenant Sato, begin charging the quantum core. Dr. Okafor, prepare the transmitter." The Resolute broke orbit from Triton, its advanced engines pushing it toward the massive alien fleet that had come to conquer Earth. The Hegemony had spent the last 50 years systematically absorbing or destroying every spacefaring civilization in the Orion Arm. Humanity, with its handful of colonies and relatively primitive technology, was meant to be an easy conquest. But the Hegemony had made one critical mistake. They had underestimated human ingenuity when backed into a corner. "Approaching optimal transmission range, Captain," reported Dr. Amara Okafor, the brilliant physicist who had designed the quantum core. Her dark hands moved with practiced precision across her specialized console. "Core stability at 97%. "They've detected us," announced Sato. "Multiple targeting systems locked on." The main view screen flickered to life, revealing the bridge of the Hegemony flagship. Supreme Admiral Vextor stood in the center, his scaled skin gleaming under the harsh lights, 4 arms clasped behind his back in the traditional Hegemony posture of dominance. "Human vessel," the alien commander's translated voice boomed through the speakers. "You have violated Hegemony space and approached our fleet with hostile intent. Your primitive weapons cannot harm us. Surrender now or be destroyed." Ilara rose from her command chair, standing tall despite being dwarfed by the reptilian admiral on screen. "This is Captain Ilara Chen of the UES Resolute. I am here to discuss the terms of your surrender." A ripple of what might have been laughter moved through the Hegemony bridge crew. Vextor's inner eyelids blinked in apparent amusement. Your species' humor is as primitive as your technology, human. One vessel against our armada. Your destruction will serve as an example before we cleanse your homeworld." Ilara smiled, the expression never reaching her eyes. "Before you make that mistake, Admiral, you should know that this ship carries Project Butterfly. I believe your intelligence services have been trying to discover what that is for some time now." The change in Vextor's demeanor was subtle but immediate. His secondary breathing slits narrowed, a sign of tension in his species. "A bluff," he said, but uncertainty had crept into his voice. "Our scans detect no weapons that could threaten this fleet." "Not a weapon in the traditional sense," Ilara replied. "Dr. Okafor, please provide our friends with a demonstration." Dr. Okafor nodded and activated a sequence on her console. Instantly, every display on the hegemony bridge flickered, showing the same data stream: classified hegemony battle plans, resource allocations, and most damning of all, recordings of their High Council planning the extinction of humanity. "Impossible." Vextoriist. "Those are highest-level secured files." "Nothing is secure from quantum entanglement," said Ilara calmly. "While your fleet was massing at your forward base, we deployed thousands of microscopic quantum-entangled particles throughout your command systems. Everything you know, we know. Everything you planned, we see. Deactivate your systems immediately." Vextor commanded, his composure cracking further. "That's not how this works, Admiral," Ilara said. "The quantum core aboard this ship is currently transmitting every secret of the hegemony to all 57 species you've conquered or threatened. Your supply chain vulnerabilities, the weaknesses in your dreadnought shields, the genetic kill switch your scientists built into the vaccines you provided to compliant worlds." The bridge of the hegemony flagship erupted into chaos as subordinates rushed to verify her claims. Vextor's scales had darkened, a sign of rage or fear. "You lie," he said, but his voice lacked conviction. "Then destroy us," Ilara challenged. "The quantum core is linked to my vital signs and those of my senior officers. The moment we die, the failsafe activates, and the complete data package releases to every corner of the galaxy. Not just your secrets, Admiral, but the technical specifications for weapons that could penetrate your defenses, the coordinates of every one of your hidden bases, the personal genetic codes of your High Council members." Vextor was silent, his alien features unreadable to most humans. But Ilara had studied his species extensively. "You have 1 hour to withdraw your fleet beyond the Kuiper Belt and open communications with Earth authorities to discuss terms," she continued. "If any vessel fires upon Earth or its colonies, or if you attempt to attack this ship, everything gets released. Everything." "The High Council will never agree to negotiate with prey," Vextor growled. Ilara shrugged. "Then I suppose we'll see if your personal loyalties lie with the Council or with the trillion hegemony citizens who would suffer when your empire collapses overnight." She nodded to Sato, who cut the transmission. The bridge of the Resolute was silent for several heartbeats. "Do you think they believed it?" Vasquez finally asked. Ilara sank back into her command chair, the weight of all humanity seeming to press down on her shoulders. "They believe it because it's true. The quantum entanglement network is real. The data we've gathered is real. But the failsafe," Dr. Okafor began, "is also real," finished Ilara. "If this ship is destroyed, every secret the hegemony has ever kept gets broadcast across the galaxy." Karim swallowed hard. "So we're really doing this? One ship holding an entire alien armada hostage?" Ilara looked at the tactical display, where 117 red dots surrounded their single blue one. "We're not just holding them hostage, Lieutenant. We're changing the equation. For decades, the hegemony has conquered through superior numbers and technology. Today, we show them what humans do best. We change the rules of the game." "Incoming transmission from the hegemony flagship," announced Sato. Ilara straightened in her chair. On screen, Vextor appeared again, his posture noticeably less dominant. The High Council has been informed of your proposal. They are considering their options. They have 56 minutes remaining, Ilara replied. The alien admiral's breathing slits flared. You realize, Captain, that even if we withdraw today, this changes nothing in the long term. The hegemony does not forgive or forget. Ilara allowed herself a small, genuine smile. That's where you're wrong, Admiral. This changes everything. Because now you know that humanity doesn't play by your rules. We never have. The transmission ended, and Ilara turned to her crew. And now we wait. Lieutenant Karim cleared his throat. Captain, if I may ask, what happens if they call our bluff and attack anyway? Ilara met his gaze steadily. Then humanity loses its homeworld, but the hegemony loses its empire, and the first rule of becoming a spacefaring civilization, Lieutenant, is learning that sometimes the only victory is ensuring your enemy loses more than you do. The tension on the bridge was palpable as they watched the hegemony fleet, wondering if humanity's greatest gamble would pay off, or if they had just signed Earth's death warrant. Checkmate in the void. Aboard the hegemony flagship Inevitable Conquest, Supreme Admiral Vextor paced the secure conference chamber. The holographic forms of the 7 High Counselors flickered before him, their expressions ranging from outrage to fear. This is blasphemy, roared Counselor Drakmor, his ceremonial battle ridges flaring. One primitive vessel dares to threaten the hegemony. Destroy them immediately. With respect, Counselor, Vextor replied, struggling to maintain proper deference. Our technicians have confirmed the quantum infiltration. Somehow, these humans have accessed our most secure systems. Counselor Zelva, the eldest of the 7 and theoretically the wisest, leaned forward. Is there no way to neutralize this threat without triggering their failsafe? We have run 17 attack simulations, Vextor answered. Our fastest weapons would destroy their vessel in 2.3 seconds. Their quantum transmission would begin in 0.8 seconds upon detecting our weapon activation. This is unprecedented, murmured Counselor Tixera, the only female among the leadership. No species has ever deployed quantum entanglement technology as a defensive measure. Drakmor slammed his fist against an unseen surface. Because it is inefficient, impractical. The energy requirements alone are apparently not insurmountable for humans, Selve interrupted. We have 22 minutes before their deadline expires. We must decide. The chamber fell silent as the extinction of humanity was weighed against the possible collapse of an empire that had stood for 8,000 years. Meanwhile, on the bridge of the Resolute, Captain Ilara Chen was fighting her own battle against the crushing pressure of waiting. 22 minutes until they knew if Earth would live or die. 22 minutes until they discovered if one ship could truly change the course of galactic history. Quantum core status, she asked, needing something, anything, to focus on. Stable at 94%, Dr. Okafor reported. Enough to maintain the connection for another 6 hours before we need to initiate the cooling sequence. Ilara nodded, then looked to Commander Vasquez. Status of the hegemony fleet. No change in formation. Weapon systems remain powered but not targeting. They're in a holding pattern. Lieutenant Karim had been monitoring communications chatter. Captain, I'm picking up increased transmissions between hegemony vessels. They appear to be. He paused, listening intently. They're arguing about us. A ghost of a smile touched Ilara's lips. Good. Division in the ranks is exactly what we need. Captain, said Sato suddenly, I'm detecting power fluctuations in the hegemony flagship. They may be preparing tow. The view screen activated without warning, revealing not Vextor, but an ancient reptilian alien. His scales faded to pale yellow with age, wearing elaborate ceremonial garments that marked him as a High Counselor. I am Zelva of the Hegemony High Council, the alien announced, his translated voice scratchy but commanding. To whom am I speaking? Ilara rose from her chair. Captain Ilara Chen of Earth. The ancient alien studied her for an uncomfortably long moment. In 8,000 years of hegemony expansion, no species has ever forced us to reconsider our path of conquest. Until now. Ilara remained silent, recognizing that interrupting would be a mistake. Our intelligence suggested your kind were barely past planetary civilization. Zelva continued. Fractious, disorganized, technologically primitive. Yet here you stand, one ship against an armada, armed with a strategy no hegemony tactical analyst predicted. Humans specialize in the unexpected, counselor, Ilara replied. It's how we've survived our own violent history. Zelva's inner eyelids blinked slowly. A violent history that has prepared you well, it seems. The High Council has reached a decision. The entire bridge crew of the Resolute tensed. The hegemony fleet will withdraw beyond your system's boundary. We will establish diplomatic relations with Earth authorities. A formal non-aggression pact will be negotiated. Relief flooded through Ilara, though she maintained her composed expression. A wise decision, counselor. But know this, Captain Chen. The ancient alien continued, his voice hardening. This concession comes not from mercy or respect, but necessity. The hegemony will adapt. We will study your species more carefully. And when we have neutralized this quantum advantage of yours, you'll find we've developed 3 more you haven't anticipated. Ilara finished for him. That's the thing about humans, counselor. We never stop innovating, especially when our survival depends on it. For the briefest moment, something like genuine curiosity flickered across Zelva's alien features. Perhaps there is wisdom in studying your kind before attempting to conquer you. A temporary respite, then. Call it what you wish, Ilara replied. History will record it as the day the hegemony learned humanity is not prey. The transmission ended, and the tension on the bridge finally broke. Several crew members let out ragged cheers, while others simply slumped in relief. Lieutenant Karim looked like he might faint. They're actually withdrawing, Vask said in disbelief, watching the tactical display as the massive hegemony vessels began changing formation. 117 warships, retreating from a single vessel. Ilara allowed herself to collapse back into her command chair, the weight of the past hours finally hitting her. Not from the vessel, Commander. From the idea it represents. Dr. Okafor approached, her brilliant eyes shining. The quantum core performed beyond expectations, Captain. The entanglement held across every node. And Earth? Ilara asked, turning to Sato. Transmission from Admiral Takahashi incoming, he replied, and the Admiral's holographic form appeared before them once more. Captain Chen, he said, his normally stoic face split by an uncharacteristic grin. The impossible has been accomplished. The hegemony fleet is withdrawing. Ilara nodded, exhaustion and relief washing over her in equal measure. Project Butterfly worked, sir. The quantum entanglement network forced them to stand down. The President wishes to speak with you personally, the Admiral continued. You and your crew will receive the highest honors Earth can bestow. Thank you, sir, Ilara replied. But all we want right now is to come home. After the transmission ended, Ilara stood and addressed her crew. Set course for Earth and power down the quantum core. Its work is done. As the Resolute turned toward home, leaving the retreating hegemony fleet behind, Lieutenant Karim approached his captain hesitantly. Permission to speak freely, Captain. Always, Lieutenant. We just changed the course of human history with quantum entanglement and the threat of information warfare, he said, still sounding stunned. Not with bigger guns or better shields, but with information. Ilara smiled. The hegemony has conquered 57 civilizations by being the strongest. Today they learned that strength isn't always about firepower. They'll be back, won't they? Karim asked. Eventually, Ilara admitted. But not before we've prepared. Not before we've shared our quantum technology with every world willing to stand against them. The hegemony's days of easy conquest are over. Commander Vasquez joined them. The legend will spread, you know. The human captain who faced down an alien armada alone and won without firing a shot. Ilara shook her head. Not alone, Commander. Every person on this ship, every scientist who developed the quantum core, every leader who approved this insane gamble. She looked out at the stars, where Earth was just becoming visible, tiny, blue, and against all odds still free. That's the real secret the hegemony will never understand, she said softly. Humans are at their most dangerous not when we're fighting for ourselves, but when we're fighting for each other. As the Resolute journeyed home, the story of humanity's defiance was already spreading across the galaxy, carried by the very quantum network that had ensured their victory. One ship against an armada, one captain who had changed the rules of galactic warfare forever. And in the void between stars, a new balance of power had been established, one where humanity would never again be underestimated.